Hi, welcome to Education in Focus on School World TV. My name is Ruth Bazane. Today we have Madam Evelyn Ajapong, the Education Director of Crown Prince Academy. We want to talk about the educational system in Ghana and what the new curricula the President spoke about in the State of the Nation's address could mean to the system. Stay with us, we'll be right back to give you more. So for starters, I want you to give me your general impression about the educational system in Ghana.
Right. I guess I'm in a good position to do that because I've been in Ghana since September 2017. Before that, I was in the education system in the UK for 25 years as an educator in various roles. And I also studied through that system from the age of 13. Now, when I came to Ghana in 2017, in my role as education director here, one of the things I did was look at the syllabus. And in all honesty, the syllabus in itself is not hugely different from the syllabus we use in the UK. The difference is the prescription. The syllabus here is very prescriptive. Whereas in the UK, the new syllabus that we work from is not so prescriptive. It kind of gives you some space for creativity and innovation in what you do. So it gives you subject topic areas where children need to have some knowledge on. But it also pushes a lot on skills, practical skills, attaining targets, debating skills, all of that aspect is mentioned. So it's an area that you are expected to develop because the pupils will be examined in some way or form on it. So I think that is the way that perhaps the Ghana system has to try and move towards.
Recently, the president delivered his State of the Nation's address, and he spent quite some time talking about education. And he mentioned categorically that in September this year, they are going to roll out a new education curriculum for kindergarten students and primary 6 students, from KG to primary 6. What's your take on this introduction of a new curriculum?
When I came in 2017, we were expecting a new syllabus, which was the new one following on from the 2012 syllabus. So that was 5 years from the last one. We're still waiting the 2017 syllabus that was supposed to come in when I joined. So when the president mentioned that, my interest was, is that the 2017 one that has been delayed, or is this over and above the 2017 one that we were expecting to get anyway? So in essence, the GES has not reviewed the syllabus for 7 years, 8 years, in a very, very fast-moving education system. Saying being, we're educating children for jobs that are yet to come. So we're educating them in a way that they're going to be doing jobs that currently we don't even know exist. Like if you mentioned vlogging and blogging to somebody as a potential career, 5 years ago even, they'll look at you quite blankly. But those who are making it in those fields were clearly those who have the skill sets to be able to develop that. So it's about trying to anticipate where we are going, where technology is going, where education is going, etc., with a view to looking at the developments that are currently happening and how far those things are going to be made use of in the near future. So my biggest concern, much as it was nice hearing it, was firstly, where is this curricula that we're supposed to be looking at, this new syllabus? And if it's new, is it new over and above the 2017 delayed syllabus? Or is it a completely new syllabus? And then, of course, what happens beyond primary 6? What are we doing with our JHS and SHS? Is there going to be changes there as well? Which means everything is kind of up in the air. So obviously, after watching the State of the Nation address, I did what most people will try and do, is do some research. Is there something out there? I belong to some networks that I try to ask. Nobody seemed to have an answer as to what was happening. And in fact, it raised more questions than it gave answers. Currently, you go to the GES website, you've still got old syllabi from 2012. You don't have anything new on there. And you don't, interestingly, have any announcements to say how far are we going towards this new syllabus that is supposedly coming in. So that is the struggle. Then, on top of that, as somebody in senior management in the school, First question I'm going to ask is, if there's a new syllabus coming in, when are we supposed to implement it? If we're supposed to be implementing it in September this year, then surely I need to have my staff ready, because maybe the way in which they'll need to be delivering may be different. So the staff need to be trained on it. We may need new resourcing, so we need to be planning for that. And also, really, if we've got something new coming in, what is happening even at the teacher training level? And if we, the senior managers of schools, are not even aware of potentially what is likely to be coming along, how do we implement this effectively? So there is the challenge. So for me, there's many, many questions that need answering. It's all nice, well and good to hear that we understand what is going on out there. The world is flat. We are trying to be competing on the world stage. But if we're not really communicating with those who are going to implement it, then how do we move it forward? Yeah.
The conversation is getting very interesting and very educative, but we'll go for a quick break. Do stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is School World TV, your power to learn, teach, and lead.
One of the questions, because the one thing I've done is try to join as many education forums as possible. And one of the questions I raised straight away was, does anybody know how they've arrived at this new curriculum? Because you're talking to educators, people who are in education in one shape or the other, people who resource it, people who are training teachers, as I do sometimes, people who are working with their GES, supposedly with the practical aspects, the vocational aspect. And what worried me was the silence that came back. There was a lot of, oh, we don't know. So you're like, well, if the people who were supposed to be contributing to this are not necessarily very much aware of what happened in this process, then what exactly is going to be given to us? And as it is with most of these things, the people who are usually making the decisions are people who, if they were in education, are no longer in it. They've not been at the chalk face, so to speak, for a while. So, all well and good doing the research and saying this is the way we should do it, but we also then need to be talking to those who are likely to be saying, well, this is lovely, but I don't actually have any skilled staff to deliver this. So what we must be doing now is looking at how we scale up our staff to be ready to deliver. So, for example, in the UK, if there's a new curriculum coming in, every school had a representative that was able to have some input into the system. So there were regular meetings, there were focus groups that were looking at particular subject areas, then there were cross-curricular groups that were looking at, if I'm looking for the scientists to be able to draw graphs, scatter graphs in a particular year, it's maths doing the same thing in that particular year. So that you're making sure that everything kind of marries up, and one subject is not making demands of children that other subjects are not quite at that point of doing. So there needs to be some proper intricate design and happening. And if you don't bring people on board, and the document that then gets given to them, they feel distance from it. They don't feel ownership, which then means they're not likely to deliver in the way in which you want them to deliver it, really. Yeah. They're saying is education is no race. So if it's no race, how do you marry the two up? Because one will be wanting results and the other will be saying the children are not necessarily developing at the same way we expect them to. They're not robots after all. So that's the challenge we have now. Yeah, it's a big one. Yes. Thank you so much, Ruth, for your time. Thank you.
It's been a very exciting time on Education in Focus today. We've learned a whole lot. But what I want us to take with us today is that it takes two parties, it takes one or more parties to get this done as far as education is concerned. Policymakers should communicate with implementers, teachers, educators to come on board and make this work. Thanks for watching Education in Focus on School World TV. I'm Ruth Bazain. See you next week.
Thanks for watching School World TV, brought to you by Neogenics Education Group.